morning, everyone, and welcome to the How to Be a Parent Facebook Live questions and answers, where we answer your questions that you send in. As always, really appreciate you guys taking the time to send in your questions, and I think it shows that there's definitely an appetite out there to try and improve things at home for everybody in the family. And we hope that these little tips and techniques that we kind of give it every week will actually have an impact and can help you to navigate the muddy waters of being a parent. If only it was plain sailing, it'd be fantastic, wouldn't it? I suppose, as always, I do have the Patreon page set up, so listeners can help out with the production of these podcasts on a weekly basis, as well as my other podcasts as well. So it's patreon.com/ the Al O'Donoghue podcast, I think that's it. Anyway, you can find it. It's pretty straightforward. I don't want to plug it too much, but it does make a difference to kind of help with the equipment and stuff like that and production of the podcasts. So, what have we got for today? Okay, first one up. I have two boys, 4 and 2. They're great kids, but recently I noticed my eldest boy is getting more and more boisterous when it comes to playing with his brother. I've spoken to him about being gentle, but he doesn't seem to grasp it. Is there anything I can do to get him to understand? So, excuse me. I think a lot of parents will be able to empathise with this parent, and especially when you've got 2 or 3 kids, you'll see maybe the older ones. And like 4 is still quite a young age, so at 4, your child may not be in school yet, so they're only learning how to interact with other people. And he's gone from having this little brother who, was a baby and but he did nothing but poo and get sick, to now having this little toddler running around, under his feet and, looking to play with his big brother. So it's that thing of, trying to encourage them to play and get on and build a good relationship. But for your 4-year-old to try and understand that, a 2-year-old just can't quite take the same bumps as a 4-year-old can take. So I suppose, you've had these conversations with him and he's not quite kind of getting it. What I will say is it's important to have a bit of understanding, which I'm sure you do, that he is 4 years of age and he's only learning as well. So he's just getting to grips with himself. So from a physical perspective, you're probably finding with him at 4 years of age that, he's the perfect height to hit every single corner of every single table and run into windows, and he just can't stop himself. He's just discovered the world and he is running and trying to have the fun that he wants to have. And then all of a sudden, there's this little 2-year-old who just happens to be in the way and is another thing to bump into. So I suppose it's one of those things that you just monitor it. Keep having the conversation, keep reminding him if you see him getting overly boisterous, do have the conversation with him. But I don't think it's something you need to delve into straight away and start giving consequences. Now, if you start to see the behaviour escalate where, he's eyeing him up and kind of going, right, he's a skittle that I'm going to knock over, then you can step in and give the consequence that needs to be. And it doesn't have to be big. Usually a bit of a timeout or, stepping away from the situation is usually going to be enough to get him to calm down. And that starts to help him gently realise that, okay, I can't kick lumps out of that little yolk over there, even though he's like so squidgy and I just want to kind of, so you don't have to go over the top. It doesn't have to be overly, a lot of punishment, but it is important for you to kind of be mindful of it. And there's always going to be bumps and knocks, but that's just part of being a 4 and a 2-year-old. And the other side of it is your 2-year-old's going to learn some resilience. Like, I would hazard a guess that, when your 2-year-old does get knocked over, he probably just gets back up and plays because he just thinks it's all part of the play. You have to keep him safe. But there's a bit of kind of allowing to, both of them to get to grips with this new way of being, because the 2-year-old is all of a sudden probably up on his feet and he's running around and he is discovering everything, and it's just another part of growing up. We all get bumps, we all get knocked down, so it's one of those things. So don't dive in with consequences straight away unless you need to, and then at that point it doesn't need to be major. It can be quite subtle. It can be quite laid back, and but strong enough that he understands that what he's done is maybe gone a bit too far. But keep having the conversation with them without it being constant all the time, in his ear going, be careful of your brother, mind your brother, watch out for your brother. Just monitor it. Now, I'm sure you might sit there and go, I'd love to have the time to sit and monitor it, but I have, to look after the two of them and look after everything else in the house as best as you can. With any of this stuff, it's always do as best as you can. You're not going to be perfect. And there's no such thing as that perfect parent. So don't try and strive for it, because it's impossible. What you can do is work towards trying to just manage things as best as you can in any given situation. It's going to be days you lose it. There's going to be days you go over the top. That's okay. It happens. It happens. It's part of being a parent. So give yourself a break. Give the kids a break and just enjoy it. As long as they're both safe, they're going to be all right. Okay. This morning I've got my, not mine, my daughter's Moomies. I can't remember, Moomins or whatever they were called, all the way from Finland. So I hope everyone else is enjoying their Finnish coffee. Okay. Question 2. My daughter is 16 and is about to finish school. She's extremely academic and is quite a bit younger than her classmates finishing school. I'm struggling to know what to do about her going to university, not from an academic perspective, excuse me, but from a maturity one. Do I let her go straight away, or do I keep her around us for another year? Yeah, that's one of those things. You don't want to hold back your child, because in my experience with children who are very academic, they need to feed that desire to gain knowledge. And 16, finishing school, it is very young. But it's not so much very young. It's very young to be transitioning into university life, where you're with grown adults, where, maybe your child will go off to university somewhere else, and that brings its own concerns and worries for you as a parent. I think it's one of those things as well. Maybe, your child has probably been around 17 and 18-year-olds all year, and so she's going to be used to being around older kids. She may not engage with them as much, but she's going to be used to being around them and used to knowing what they're like. And it's one of those things where I think you can sit down and have the conversation with her. She may be very nervous about going. She may kind of go, university is a big, scary place for me right now, and I'm not sure if I want to go right now. But it is important that she does get that opportunity to continue her study, and not at a level that is way below her ability. And this is where the difficulty can arise, because a lot of the one-year courses that might be out there, or that you might have around you locally, may not be at the level that will challenge her academically, which will ultimately help her to grow. So what I will say is, sit down, have a conversation with her, see how she feels about the situation. She might be chomping at the bit to go for right or for wrong, but like you say, she's academic, so it's not. It doesn't sound like she is, itching to kind of go, I want to go have parties and go out drinking and have all the fun that, normal 18, 19-year-olds do when they start university. Maybe she's licking her lips at the idea of going and, challenging herself in an environment where, her wings will spread and she will be really challenged. Or, she might be pretty nervous about it. So have that conversation, which I'm sure you have, okay? I'm sure you have. And see what she wants to do and how she feels about the whole situation. Then what you can do is you can start to look at what are the courses around you. So depending on what she feels and what you feel, she could look at doing a course that may be offered in I suppose what we have here is, a course in between. I can't remember what they're called. There used to be a PLC course. I don't know if they're still called PLC courses, but she could go and do a course like that that will help her continue her academic endeavours, and at the same time help her in the long run when it comes to getting into university. I'm sure she'll be able to defer her place if she does as well as it appears that she will do. with her exams. So it's okay to kind of explore those options. And if they're not at the level, can she go and do an online course? Or maybe you guys go and meet with the administration's officer, for the university or universities that she's interested in going to, and ask about what other people have done. Because I'm going to hazard a guess she's not going to be the first 16/17-year-old going to university. So go and meet with them. I'm sure they've got a setup where they are used to bringing in young people that age and supporting them academically and for maturity levels as well. They may not, but it's worth the conversation, and that might help you guys decide what's the best thing to do. The other thing is, she could maybe get a job. Sometimes that's a really, really good thing because she gets work experience, and I know myself in my line of work, a lot of the young people I come across, they really struggle because when they get to 18, 19 and they're looking for a full-time job, they have no experience, because for the last 10 to 12 years what's happened is people who maybe would have been involved in the construction industry in Ireland, or who were impacted upon by the recession, are going for all those jobs as well. So they're coming with a lot more work experience. So it might be a benefit for her to go and get some work experience. And then there's the but with that. But what happens in a year's time when she's had a year's worth of money in her pocket and she's 16, 17, going on 18 years of age, and all of a sudden it's like, I'm kind of liking having this money. But I suspect, given from what you've said, that she's quite academic, she's always going to have that, desire to study. So sit down with her, explore the courses, what she wants to do, explore the courses, go meet the universities, see what structures they have in place to support younger students, and then you guys make a plan of action. And if it doesn't work out, you can change it. Like, that's the other side of it. So many people that I work with, they will turn around and say, I hope they don't make a decision that's going to, mess their lives up, or, it's going to have such a major impact. It won't. It won't, unless something completely drastic happens. We all make mistakes. We all go and we make decisions that may not be the best decision in that moment, but we learn from it. And what happens then is we go and we change our behaviour the next time. So she may go to university, be completely overwhelmed, come, ringing you going, I'm so upset, really, really, I'm struggling. Take her out. Let her go back when she's older. It's all right. The biggest thing is not to do I told you so, because that gets people nowhere. That I told you so just makes them feel worse, and it gives you a superiority complex, like you know better. Maybe you do know better than your daughter right now, but maybe you don't. Maybe it's not the best thing for her, so what you want for her may not be the best thing for her, or what she wants. So it's all right for her to go try something, or for you to go and try something, and then if it doesn't work out, say, didn't work out, we hold our hands up and we try something different. Life is not, like, people talk about life as if it's, bookends, 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 bookends. This is definitely going to happen and this is the outcome. Well, in actual fact, it's not. We all mess up, we all make mistakes, and we all, most of us, learn from it. And we move on, and we try not to make that same mistake again. So, I hope that's of some help. Okay, last one. And it's a kid's question. It's a kid's question that I'm not overly impressed with. And I don't actually believe, right? Why does my dad smell worse than my mum? Now, here's the dad sitting here saying to all you dads out there and your mums, we all know the truth. We all know the truth. Dads do not smell worse than their mums, than the mums. Mums are way smellier than dads. It's just dads get the bad rap. So, what I'd say to you is, really ask yourself the question, does my dad smell worse than my mum? Or does my mum just blame my dad all the time for it? I'm not saying he does or he doesn't, or she does or she doesn't, but it's not always about the dads being smelly. The mums are pretty bad too. And I would hazard a guess that you're pretty smelly too as a kid, because guess what? That is life. So Here's to the dads. We are not the smelly ones. We are just as smelly as everybody else in the house. That's us for today. I hope you guys have a wonderful week. We won't be having I don't think we're going to have one next week. Stay tuned, we'll let you know. Have a good week. Hi to everybody who put a comment in. Sorry guys, I didn't recognise you as we go. Jennifer, good morning to you too. Nice to see you, as this is a great old day. It's a great old day here too. Elizabeth, what are you saying? Might not know his own strength at 4. Absolutely. Jennifer, looks like Facebook can't handle you at this early time. The transfer stumbles a bit. Apologies. Josephine. Moomins, thank you very much. It's the Moomins. Okay. Okay. So it seems that some people are having issues. Okay. Guys, have a... No, we're not the smelly ones, Elizabeth. That's shocking. Right. Guys, have a good week. And I'll speak to you soon. Take care.